Yeah, I'm just gonna like yap about $80 games for a second because Xbox has been pretty wild recently with $80 games. Nothing like Nintendo. Actually, exactly like Nintendo. Yeah, because it's getting real bad out here. So if you didn't know, a couple of weeks ago, Nintendo came out and said they were gonna start raising their game prices to $80, which was a huge controversy. But to Nintendo's fairity, they seem to not really know what games they want at $80 and what games they do. Because, like, for an example, Donkey Kong Bonanza, $70 game. Again, I'm using American prices because it's just easier. Yeah. You know, and then you got like Mario Kart World, $80, which is really weird. You know what I mean? You know, and then you got the Imperial, I think it was called the Imperial Princess. It's Age of Imprisonment. It's not the Imperial Princess. I don't know where the fuck I got Imperial Princess from, but it's not Imperial Princess. It's the Age of Imprisonment. So that's just something to keep in mind, yeah. And it doesn't actually have a release date. It doesn't have like any sort of pricing, nothing like that. But I'm gonna take the assumption, considering a lot of the other games are like $70, I'm gonna take the assumption it's gonna be like $70 to maybe $80. But I'm personally gonna put my money on 70. So yeah, Age of Imprisonment, Hyrule Warriors. Just keep that in mind. That's what it's called. But yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza, $70, you know, and then you got Mario Kart World, $80. It was weird. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. You know, some games $80, some games $70, and some games $60. It was random. I don't know why they seem to not really know what they want to do with $80 games. That's what I'm trying to make. And then there was also announced that they were going to have 3 different types of games for the Nintendo consoles, being two. Game key games, and then games that are actually on the game, like the cartridge itself. So you've got some games like Cyberpunk, which is surprisingly actually on the cartridge itself, and you got other games like game key card games, and those game key card games are just digital downloads that you put the game in there, and then it lets you digitally download the game. So then you digitally own it, but then you also own it physically. You still need the game key card to play the game, and it's pretty much physical media without actually like owning the physical media. You know what I mean? So it's legit physical media without actually owning the game itself, which was hugely controversial and people didn't like it. I didn't like it either because I'm a huge advocate for physical games. And now we go into Xbox. What Xbox has recently done is they've come out and they've announced that their games are going to be $80. And the first set of those games are going to be Ninja Gaiden 4. Yeah, it turns out Ninja Gaiden 4 is actually not $80, it's $70. My bad. I thought it was 80. You're going to hear me mention 80 a lot in the rest of this video, so apologies for that one, but just remember it's not 80, it's 70. So yeah, my bad. Sorry about that one. Oh, good. And The Outer Worlds 2. Both these games are going to be $80 or $124 here in Australia, which is wildly expensive. And these games are also coming to PS5. So yeah, it was announced these games were going to be $80, which is a really bad decision, specifically for The Outer Worlds 2. Like, one example for this is The Outer Worlds 2, for an example, is a game which makes fun of, what's the word I'm looking for? Capitalism. That was the word I was looking for. Capitalism. I don't know why I forgot that word. I'm kind of cooked right now, but it's capitalism. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. So you got a game here which constantly criticizes and parodies capitalism, and then they proceed to kind of, you could say, price their game at $80. Feels kind of counterintuitive, don't you think? Game parodies capitalism, then you charge $80 for it. Just counterintuitive, I'm just saying. But there's a bit of information I know that you don't, that I'm not telling you, and it's that the Outer Worlds 2 developer, Obsidian, aren't the ones pricing the game. It's actually Xbox. So I'm just being an asshole. I'm just being a dickhead, yeah. Xbox is actually the ones who priced the game, not Obsidian. So I'm just being a dick. So don't actually go throw a head at Obsidian. They're not the ones pricing this game at $80. It's actually Xbox. So yeah, go blame Xbox. It's their fault. Now going into my third and final, I guess, thing, or whatever you want to call it, and it's mainly why did they price their game at why have they made the decision to price their games at $80? And now most people are going to look at me and go, oh, it's because money. They want more money. But I don't believe that's the reason why they're charging $80 for their games anymore. I think the reason why they're charging $80 for their games is because I think they want to funnel more people through to Game Pass. So my full consensus is I think they want more PC players playing Game Pass. Xbox players, like Xbox is already dominated by Game Pass. They don't have to worry about that. But I think they want more people on PC to play Game Pass. So what's the best way to get PC players to play games on Game Pass? Well, it would be to jack the price up of your game really, really high and then go, hey, you could pay $80 for the game on Steam, or you could go over to Game Pass and play it for $10. So I think really charging $80 for their games is really just a desperate attempt at trying to get as many PC players to get Game Pass as physically possible. I just think it's a desperate attempt at getting PC players to sub to Game Pass, and in all honesty, it will not work. Truly, PC players would rather pirate games before going to Game Pass. They'd rather pirate games than play it on Game Pass. It's weird, but it's true, and they will. You'll charge $80 for your game thinking they'll all go to Game Pass, but in fact, they're not going to go to Game Pass. A large majority of them, they're just going to go and pirate the game. And if they pirate it, they're paying not $10, they're paying nothing to pirate the game. And then on top of that, they actually own the game outright. So they're just going to pirate your game. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to play the game on Game Pass. They're not going to do any of that crap. They're not going to do the crap you're hoping they're going to do. They're just going to pirate it. That's the thing about PC players. They don't fucking care. Just going to go do that. But that's it. That's my theory, at least. I think that's personally why, and that's personally why I believe they're charging $80 for the game. Again, recap, not because they want more money, specifically because they want to funnel as many PC players into paying for Game Pass as physically possible. A desperate attempt at getting more PC Game Pass players. So yeah, I just think it's a desperate attempt at getting more people on Game Pass, honestly. But hey, that's just a theory, a game theory. I'm gonna quit yapping. If you liked the video, like. If you really liked it, sub. It's up to you. And leave a little bit of criticism in the comment section. Tell me what I did right, tell me what I did wrong. I want to know. I like criticism. It's good. It helps me a lot with this channel, and it teaches me the things that I did right and the things that I did wrong. So anyways, I'm gonna quit yapping. I'm gonna go, and all good. Bye.